Is crypto about to explode was the title of my last YouTube video now already 2 weeks ago, and fast forward we can see a beautiful pump to the upside, Bitcoin making a new all-time high, Ethereum and the other altcoins are also pumping to the upside. So in this video I'm gonna guide you through this price action. I will show you what I am looking at next, and I will give you my perspective on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and also one special altcoin where we already had a nice setup, but I can see brilliant potential for a compounded entry. So let's jump into the video and have a look at Bitcoin. Wow, what a move to the upside. We can see currently trading at $82,400. After taking the previous all-time high, which we can see right here, 73,950, price never looked back and is just ripping to the upside. Here we're looking at the daily candles and we can see no single red daily candle. So I know that many people are now trying to short the exact top of Bitcoin, but does it really make sense to now try and short Bitcoin with this strength that we are seeing here? I'm gonna give you my answer, and yeah, let's just have a look at the high time frame, the context, but also some low time frame price action to make an informed decision and be ahead of the market. So what I was showing you in the last YouTube video, if I show that quickly over here, was the series of unfinished highs. Now, if you don't really know what a series of unfinished highs is, we obviously teach that over on our website. But here I was looking at a lot of liquidity that is still sitting above our all-time high, the current all-time high at the time. We were trading at 68,700. So we can see the liquidity has now been taken. Okay, I was explaining the massive context that we had down here, the massive support, and what I said was I am expecting this move to the upside. All right, so all I was seeing on this chart was strength. So and we can see Bitcoin is just ripping and ripping, so it continues to the upside. That's beautiful to see. But there was one very important thing we had to keep in mind. So at the time, this was obviously a series of lower highs. And if we draw a simple channel, which I already had marked out in the last video, we can see that we could have viewed this as a downward sloping channel, right? The high is pretty well respected, middle of the channel respected, as well as the low of this channel. Okay, but what we can clearly see right here is that on this first impulse, which was not quite breaking this previous all-time high, but we've seen a beautiful retest of the top of the channel. And we can clearly see that this initiated this pump to the upside, because ever since, price never looked back and just continued this move to the upside. So in terms of context, for me, it's very important to know we are in a bullish market structure. We can clearly see prices making higher highs and higher lows. This obviously is a higher high. We broke out of this downward sloping channel. We've taken the all-time high and we have not yet untested previous supply. So what do I mean with previous supply? Whenever I look for the strength of a move to the upside or to the downside, I have to look for reference points. In my opinion, the best reference points are always previous supply zones. So if we look for a strong move to the upside, we want to see the previous supply zone act as support. So let's have a look at this right here. That was a very obvious supply zone. We can see price rejected once, twice, 3 times, even a 4th time before we finally broke out of this supply zone. We can see price clearly retested this supply and flipped supply into demand for another nice move to the upside. Now for me, there is a new reference point which I am keeping an eye on. So if we once again have a look at the series of lower highs here, we can also look at this as a previous supply zone. So we have supply once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and the 5th time. So for me, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens if we retest this supply zone at around, let's just call it $73,000. So what I'm going to do is mark out this supply zone and look for additional confluence to see if I maybe can support the idea of entertaining a long trade going with momentum if we see previous supply being tested. So for me, very important to see as always, do we have additional confluence? Because just based off a previous supply zone, that is not the best trade in my opinion. So let's have a look at the fixed range profile for this entire range, which we finally broke out of. Okay. Here we can see this retest of the top of the channel, if I bring that up once again, was also in confluence with this big range point of control. So there is a theory that we teach over at Chart Champions that if we break out of a fixed range, so out of a value area, we come back inside, retest the point of control, but don't do the full value rotation. We can look for a new high. That is exactly what happened here. And I was even looking for a long trade down here alongside me. Ego was taking a long trade, Daniel was taking a long trade, and many champions as well. So that's beautiful to see. But that is just the context, okay? For me, this still looks very, very strong and looks very bullish. So, or I can actually keep this on my chart because we might as well see a retest of this previous, now we can call it previous range, value area high. Okay, so this is not the most perfect confluence because there's quite a difference between the supply zone and this value area high. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is look for a CC Fibonacci pulled from the local low that was retesting the point of control and this current all-time high. Now that is subject to change because if we just continue to the upside, this CC is also going to move higher. Right, but as it stands, we do have the 6-6, which I like, lining up with the $72,000 area. So this is already a good confluence. On this previous supply zone, we do have a CC. Okay, this is one of the trades. Obviously, I would not really place a massive swing trade up here because the swing trade to be had was down here, right? Now I can just identify the strength and try to go with this momentum and yeah, just not try to fade this move. All I'm doing at the moment is still look for longs on pullbacks. And there was one thing that I already showed you last time, and that is the weekly profile. Okay, so let's have a look at this weekly profile again. Here we can go over to ATAS. This is my weekly profile for Bitcoin. And what I can see here, there's a naked weekly point of control sitting at around 76,050. For me, that's not really at a nice price location, so I'm not too focused on this level. But what I can see down here is actually that right at this previous supply zone, we do have the previous week untested value area low, which is lining up with the week or this week before that range or weekly point of control. So I am going to mark out 72,600 as additional confluence. If I do that right here, this is going to be previous week value area low, 72,600, and we can see that is right inside the CC. So if I am looking for a trade that is going with strength and with momentum, I at least have to wait for a pullback into this previous week value area low. If I start to see massive weakness and a big drop to the downside, I would not preset this area and I would rather wait for a reaction here. We might as well look below the CC, reclaim it, and then I would have a nice long trade entry. If we form something like this, I would be interested in a long trade right here, going with the trend with an invalidation below this local low. Okay. So as you can see, I am more interested in a long that is going with the trend as opposed to trying to time the exact top. So for this, I need to go to the lower time frame, such as the 30-minute time frame. If I'm trying to make a decision on whether I want to look for a short trade or not, I need to look at the lower time frames at the moment, because on the higher time frames it's just a clear sky breakout, right? We are trading at all-time high and there's not a lot of resistance at all-time highs. But what I can clearly see on the lower time frames as well is that price is still making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and higher highs. So does it really make sense for me to look at a short trade up here? In my opinion, it doesn't really make any sense. What I can do, however, is try and identify previous significant highs and lows in the chart. So once I start seeing that price is forming lower lows, comes back up for a lower high formation and then takes the low once more. So this is based off the theory of confirmed market structure changes. I can think about the idea of taking short trades, but up here, in my opinion, this is still extremely risky and not the best idea. With all of this support that we have to the downside, no, I would definitely not look for a short trade. I can even see some scalping support here at around 80,000. All right, so unless I get a significant confirmed market structure change, which would look something along these lines, we take the previous low, still not a short trade. I would never trade a breakout. We need a lower high to be formed and then take the lows once again. If that happens, I would say to myself, all right, we have now changed market structure on the 30-minute as well as the 1-hour time frame. So I can look for my first short trades, but up here, I would definitely not be interested. Okay, the only thing I can do up here is approach this as a scalp trader and look for some SFPs, just as we've seen up here. If I look at this as a very, very low time frame range, this is nothing that I do. I am more interested in day and swing trades on Bitcoin. This, for example, here, SFP of the range high is an acceptable short trade. We are now taking range low on this very low time frame. But in my opinion, I am just staying out of short trades. For me, that is the best way to go. As long as I see strength, I want to go with the strength and not try and time the exact top of this strong move to the upside. So I hope that makes sense. And this is just my way of trading. I am more of a conservative trader. And for me, I don't really need to time the exact top. So let's also have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum also with a lovely, lovely move to the upside. If I hide a few levels, there was something that I was mentioning in one of the live trading streams, and that was this this trend line to the upside, right? We had a move into the value area low, and I said if we reclaim this trend line, that is a nice long trade and we can look for higher prices to come. For me, the first big resistance was this 2,926 level. I will go over that in this video as well and explain you what's happening here. But we can see Ethereum also extremely strong, even reclaiming a big local resistance, okay? And besides the short trade down here in one of the live trading streams, so if you haven't seen that yet, we are hosting live trading sessions on YouTube the entire month of November, because we thought it's a great idea for you to see how we are making decisions, what we are looking at live in the time. And I was even on the lower time frames identifying a nice sign of strength on Ethereum. And here you can see that I posted the setup that was during one of the live trading sessions. I was looking at a range SFP. Long trade was given during the live trading stream. And here we can see how it played out. And that was sitting at $2,781. We are now trading at $3,230. So very nice move to the upside. If you don't want to miss, or you definitely don't want to miss these live trading streams, we host them on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday on YouTube. So see you over there. But let's have a look at what's happening here. Okay, so I have a statistic on altcoins, and that is referring to previous range value area low or value area high retests once we, in this example, broke down of a previous range. All right, so the first retest of the previous range value area low is always extremely important. We can see that right here. There was no reaction whatsoever. So now I can translate this statistic into the next statistic, and that suggests that once we reclaim a previous range value area low and get accepted inside, which we are clearly doing here because we're looking at the daily candles and we're closing 1, 2, 3, and this developing day is still inside this previous range value area low. So this now has a high probability to move at least into the previous range point of control. So let me mark that out as key. And that is sitting at 3,511. Now what that means is I am not interested in any short trades whatsoever as long as we are trading below 3,511 on Ethereum, which is going to be very, very big resistance, or we start to shift market structure as I was explaining on Bitcoin. So all I am still interested in doing is look for long trades with the trend or wait, very simply, wait for higher prices to come, right? So let's have a look at this resistance up here. Besides the previous range point of control, we do have a weekly, a daily level sitting at this level, and also a monthly and a weekly naked point of control. So you definitely want to have this zone marked on your chart. I am expecting some resistance to come in up here. For me, this is even the biggest resistance that I can see on Ethereum, and once that is claimed, I would not be surprised to see a new all-time high on Ethereum. So definitely a major level. I'm hosting weekly altcoin streams on our website, and I will let our members know if I'm taking a short trade at this area or not. Okay, so you definitely want to be aware of this zone. And let's also have a look at some long trades that would go with this strength. And in my opinion, same as on Bitcoin, I need to see a little bit of a pullback to the downside first. Up here, I can't be looking for long trades. In my opinion, the best retest would be around 2,600, because here we have the range point of control, we have a naked point of control, and if we look at a CC, that's also coming in down here around this zone. So it's going to be a zone between this previous range value area high and this point of control. Here, as I was explaining on Bitcoin, I would be looking at the same theory. Okay, we broke out of a previous range value area high. If we see a retest, I want to see this point of control act as support. I do not want to see the full value rotation. Because if we find support at the range point of control, there is a high probability for price to make a new high. So let's just say for whatever reason we start to drop from here. If this area holds, we reclaim the value area high, there is a very good probability for us to reach this big resistance up there. And thus, this is the one and only area I am looking at for a go with momentum type of trade on Ethereum. What's great about this is that it's also lining up with previous supply, right? This is a nice supply zone. And this is a very beautiful level on Ethereum. I'm going to place my alert just now. So yeah, I want to be aware of these two areas on Ethereum. What I've been doing recently is focusing on the best levels only. It did offer really nice trades. So that's what I'm going to do here as well. Only looking for 2 trades on Ethereum. Massive resistance up there and nice support down here. So we have to be a little bit more patient. But while we are patient on Ethereum and Bitcoin, we can obviously have a look at tons of altcoins. And yeah, as I already promised, I will look at one more altcoin. And on this altcoin, we had a very nice setup over on the altcoin weekly updates that I'm hosting over on our website. So if you want to see that here, On our website, we obviously have all the courses material, and what you can see here is all the live streams that we are doing. And every Thursday, I'm hosting this Altcoin weekly update. Okay, you can see that here, and you can obviously rewatch all the previous Altcoin videos that I did. So one of the setups that I gave was over on Sui, all right? So on Sui, once again, what I always do is first and foremost, I analyze the context. In terms of context, we have taken a series of unfinished lows. So that is finished. We saw the move into an anchored VWAP. Also amazing. What was price doing? Price was taking previous highs. This is now an attempt to change market structure. And what I was saying was, if we start to see a retest of the CC into the daily, I am interested in a long trade. Fast forward, we can see Sui pumping to the upside from the exact entry that I gave over on the altcoin stream. We saw a move to the upside of 83%, so that's very nice. But what I'm also identifying here is that price is quite impulsively breaking out of this previous range. So here, once again, I want to go with momentum. So let me clean up my chart a little bit, hide a couple of levels, and do some fresh analysis looking for a new trade. All right. What I always do is look for high time frame levels. What I can see here is that we do have a fresh daily level sitting at 2.289. All right, I'm going to mark it out as daily. So when I saw this for the first time, I was like, what I like about this daily is that it's lining up with, I hope you remember, what am I always looking at during these uptrends? I'm looking at previous supply if we start to see pullbacks. And here we can see very perfectly, this daily is lining up with the previous supply zone before we had this massive move to the upside. All right, so that is a very, very big layer of confluence for me to be interested in this zone. Okay, besides that, I can obviously check our Fibonacci as well and see the CC is also lining up at this area. So now we already have 3 layers of confluence. Besides that, it's always a good idea to look at anchored VWAPs once we start massive impulses to the upside. And here we can see even this anchored VWAP of this latest impulse is lining up with this zone. So that's now 4 layers of confluence. If we check the previous range value, we can see we are far above this previous range value area high. And even if we retest this previous range value area high, this would still maintain this strong uptrend and just retest the previous value area high. I, for myself, don't really want to see that retested. And in my opinion, the confluence or the better confluence is up here. And this would be one of the setups that would be aiming for continuation of this uptrend. I preferably want to see these lows being taken first into the 6.6, do the reclaim of the daily, start with a little bit of a market structure change here, and for me this would be a nice entry with a stop loss below the low, aiming for a new high. Okay, so this is what I would do across altcoins. Look for some nice confluence zones if we start to see retests or the first pullbacks. So for now, I don't see any major weakness here on Ethereum or all these other altcoins. So that is
Connection
what
lost.
I'm looking at next. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope I made my approach for these strong uptrends very clear. I'm not looking for short trades. I'm looking for longs with strength. And yeah, let's see if we can hit some of our predefined entries. I'm going to stay patient, look for the best trades only as always. And yeah, with that being said, see you in the next video and also in the live trading streams that I already mentioned. So see you over there. Goodbye.